Hey, good morning, guys. I'm sipping on the world's best cup of coffee here. Folgers in your cup. Today I'm going to be talking about how you can make money working as a brand ambassador. You might wonder, what is a brand ambassador? So, let's take this coffee cup for example. Let's hypothetically say that the coffee cup is owned by Elf, and Elf is the brand, right? And as a brand ambassador, what you're going to do is you promote Elf associated products. It might be shoes, slippers, it might be coffee cups, it might be hats. And if you're working as an in person ambassador, you'll most likely be set up in a booth, maybe at like a festival or a trade show, and you'll have branded stuff you might be selling, or you also, for the most part, might be handing stuff out. And the way I got into working as a brand ambassador was way back in 2018. I had a friend that recommended that I get into that line of work. I think what attracted me most was the ability to create my own schedule and then to make some extra money on the side. I think we're all looking for side hustles these days with the economy. But the way I got started was I was a backup for LASIK brands. All I had to do was show up on the site, and if the person who was supposed to be there didn't show up, I would take their place. And it actually turned out that I didn't have to take anybody's place. I think I got paid like $50 just to show up and then leave. But that's not what you want to aim for. You want to aim to actually work these events. So there's a couple of places you can look for jobs. I definitely recommend some of the Facebook brand ambassador pages associated with your city. Like, if you live in New York, look up brand ambassadors in New York. If you live in Los Angeles, look up brand ambassadors of Los Angeles. If you work in Florida, look up brand ambassadors Tampa, for example. And then once you go on there, you'll see postings by the company. They'll tell you what they're looking for. They'll tell you how long the event is. They'll tell you how they're going to pay you. And some of these jobs actually pay pretty well. Like, some of these jobs pay like upwards $25 an hour. Some even pay 30 or more than that. And it's going to vary how long the assignments last. Like, it might be a day gig, a 2 day gig, 3 day gig. And I've even had some that have lasted a couple weeks. Like, I worked a flyering program for Visa a couple years ago. It lasted, I think, like 3 or 4 weeks. They get paid pretty steadily, which was nice. But you can approach these jobs at like any sort of level you want to. Like, you can work them part time. You can work one a month. It all depends on where your market is. If you're living in a small town, it might be harder to find work versus going to a bigger city like Atlanta or Los Angeles. Another thing you gotta be mindful of is there's a lot of competition in the bigger cities. So it's best to start out small, start by picking up like a few shifts in your area, and then go from there. Where else can you find these gigs? There is a site that I use. It's called Trusted Herd. It's a database of hundreds of different agencies that post jobs all across the country. You can even set the parameters. You could look for gigs that are 30 miles from your house. You could look for gigs that are 300 miles from your house. It doesn't matter. You could also search by company, have reviews, and you can give reviews, and the company can leave reviews for you as well. And other than that, those are like a couple of the places I can think of. Another great way is to get to know some of the people that you work with. I've made a lot of friends in this kind of work over the years, and that's led me to gigs I want to found just by looking on the internet. And then you can also help other people find opportunities as well. I believe it always is good to help other people, and then the good is going to go back to you. And you know, once you find a job, definitely show up early. Never call off. Don't do any of that stuff. Unless it's an absolute emergency. So, as for brand ambassador work at the moment, things have slowed down a little bit. Um, and sometimes you have to make a choice. You might have to go to another city if you want to do this full time, or you might just have to get like a regular job right now. And right now, I'm just doing like a bunch of various different independent contract work. But that covers it for today's video, and I think I might go in depth in other videos. Like and subscribe if you haven't already, and thank you very much.